What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Dogecoin today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And here we are at about 17 cents now on the week. 8 hours and 55 minutes left. It is the 30th of March. We are coming up to the end of the month. We're coming up to the end of the week. Whole lot of stuff's going down, man. Going down literally and metaphorically. We did have a nice little wick up this week, but we found resistance at prior areas of support, prior areas of resistance back here, and prior areas of support and resistance back in this zone over here. Nothing significant's going on. We probably do have lower to go. Where are we going to go? From a low to a high. We've interacted with the golden ratio so far. The first attempt, you oftentimes don't break through it, but the second time, oftentimes you do. And I do expect that Bitcoin itself will drop probably about 13% or so. If Bitcoin drops 13% or so, I would think that Dogecoin probably drops a little bit more than that. You are in a situation, Dogecoin, where you might find a double bottom down here. You could find support at around 14 cents. I don't think that that's off the table, but if Bitcoin drops about 13 to 14%, I would think you drop a little bit more than 17%. So what would that be? Maybe you do go all the way down to the 786. I like that as an area. You found resistance or support at the golden ratio, resistance at the 0.5. Oftentimes in fibs, I'd have no problem calling for this kind of drop. So something around just below 12 cents, that's where I think you're going to go, right? Right there at like 11.7 cent price, if not even a little bit higher than that or a little bit lower than that. Something in that area could make sense. Let's put a line down there and just see if we can make sense out of that. It's very uncommon from what I've seen in the fibs. It doesn't mean that it can't happen, but it's very uncommon to stop somewhere between the 786 area here and the 69. So you're either going, in other words, you're either going to find support at 14 cents or you're going to find support at this white line here or lower. Not in between. This in between range, it could happen. And there's, from a percentage basis, it makes a lot of sense as to why it could happen, but it's just so weird on a fib perspective, right? At least to me it is. But who knows? Who knows? Anyways, let's see here. Oh, no, we don't want that. We want that back on there. Let's delete this. So if we look to the left and we see you found resistance right here, just below this area at the 6.9, support right here on a closing basis time and time again. A little bit of turbulence in that zone, a little bit of support in this zone here. The second line here, you found some support right around this area, resistance on a closing basis there, resistance just below on a wicking basis, support just above on a wicking basis, resistance here, turbulence here, not a whole lot. I don't know. That doesn't really help me. If I had to lean as to which one was more significant, I'd say they're equally as significant. So your chances are either 11.7 cents or 14 cents, you guys, for support. It's not the easiest to say. Looking at the weekly RSI, I am pretty convinced that you go down. I think that you complete the thought here. You've been overbought. You're all the way down here. I think you get to your oversold zone before you recover. Do you get into it? Maybe. Do you bounce off of it? Probably, right? You probably, if you get into it, I expect it's going to be like a very small little dip into it, if anything at all. You might just tip right off of it. You could even find support right above it as well. So a little bit lower though, nonetheless. That's what the weekly RSI is telling me. 3-day time frame here, higher highs, or not higher highs. These highs here are coming in line with the 40 area, rejecting the 40. You were oversold. Rejecting the 40 after being oversold is not a good thing, right? It's like finding overbought zones and then finding support at the 60 area. That is a good thing, right? So you're probably going to get oversold again. Getting oversold again on a 3-day period would likely imply that you are going lower than this low here, and the targets that we would have agree with a 13-cent price to an 11.4 cent price, right? So something and anything in between that area. Maybe you do go between the 6.9 and the 0.786, and maybe you do go down there. I don't know. Talking about the fibs, not the prices, right? The prices were like 14 cents to 11.7 cents. Maybe you do find support somewhere in that area. It wouldn't be my expectation on the overall fib, but from this fib, it's very possible, I would say. Looking at that there, some congruence is good to see. Oops, hold on. I want to take the first pivot too and just see what this tells us. Low to high here. Because what we've done here, I'm going to bring that back in a second. We've found support in the 1886200 area, but we're kind of not respecting it, to be completely fair. Finding resistance at the 1618, respecting that. We could go all the way down to that 2618, man. That could be it, yeah. Or certainly I do think you're going to go below 4 cents or 14 cents. So Dogecoin actually might be making a run, guys, all the way below 12 cents. I'm starting to see that a lot more, right? That makes a little bit of sense there. 1618's all the way down here, 2618's all the way down there. Your 786 from the overall low to high is right down there as well. Or no, I'm sorry, not your. Is that your? Yeah, that is your 786. Yeah, looking at it like this, right? Low here, to a high there. 786 right in this same area as the 2618, as the 1618 there. So I like that. I like that zone. I guess that's the call right now. You're going to go below 12 cents, but yet find support above 11 cents, somewhere in that zone at the lowest, right? You could find support at a higher price. It is possible. Just because I'm saying that doesn't mean you can't find support between like 12 and 13 cents. It could happen, but I'm not counting on it at this point in time. Dogecoin is a squirrely bird whenever it wants to be, man. It can drop pretty quick and then pump pretty quickly too. I think a lot of people are counting on Dogecoin this cycle because of how well it did last cycle. So if it's performing anything unlike last cycle, it just gives people an excuse to sell out and panic sell. And I think the market makers, the people in charge, they're probably aware of that. So not financial advice, not a financial advisor. It's probably not a good time to sell here. It probably does drop a little bit lower, like 20 to 30%, around that 30% area. And even then, I would just persevere personally, because as dramatic and sad as it would be to hold through this whole low, it would be even worse and more dramatic if you sold here and I'm wrong and it pumps, right? Because when it pumps, you're likely going to see prices that are above 80 cents, above a dollar, stuff like that. Your next target area is going to be phenomenal. I really do think you're going to be at new all-time highs, and nothing below 80 cents will do. We can talk about that in a second, but I want to keep going on this analysis and make sure that we've got confirmation here, or at least the looks of it going to the downside here. Lower highs, right? Lower highs throughout this whole range, and you have higher highs in your RSI. High here, higher high, higher high. High here, lower high, right? So high, higher high, higher high, lower highs here. Hidden bearish divergence often promotes continuation in the downtrend, and it looks like you're getting that. So I definitely believe that you will go lower. 4-hour time frame here, looking bearish as hell, man. Yeah, super bearish. So likely going down. If you go up, don't get too excited, right? If you go up from here and you don't move down immediately, that's okay, right? From a low to a high, you could move all the way back up to 18.8 cents. If you do that, that's not convincing that you're done going lower. You can do that and see some quick implied volatility and then continue to go lower. You might not though. Don't count on that to happen either, right? Maybe you just move up to 17.9 cents. But I'm just saying this not because I think it's going to happen, but if it does happen, that way you're not like, oh, it's moving up. He was wrong, and maybe I was wrong about it for a moment. You know what I mean? And who cares about being right or wrong, anyways? But just because it does something like this in this area, if it moves up, doesn't mean that you're absolved of going lower. You probably are going lower. I'm very confident you're going to go below 12 cents. But the most confident, I would say, I'm very confident that you're going to go below 14 cents. That's what I'm actually the most confident in. You could go. There is a scenario where I guess you could find support between 12 and 14 cents, 12 and 13 cents, but I don't see that happening as much. The only thing that makes me think that you could do that there is that Bitcoin dropping about 13 to 14%, and then Dogecoin dropping about 25% to 28%. That would not drop you below 12 cents, I'm pretty sure. So that's fine if that happens, but I don't know. Time will tell, guys. We'll see how it goes. I'm definitely anticipating prices below 12 cents right now. Now let's talk about the upside, okay? Let's talk about the upside, because it looks as though the charts are all in agreement on all time frames that we are going down, right? Yeah, even the 1 hour looks sad. So upper time frames. We're going to talk about all-time highs, and we're going to talk about the new all-time highs to come right here, but I'm talking about cycle highs too. If we look at this from a high here to a low here, 786. Oftentimes, actually, whenever you tear through to your 786, you don't find resistance at your golden ratio. Oftentimes, you do go all the way back down to your 236. So the fact that we're not anticipating you go to your 236 is actually a bullish thing, to be completely fair. It's very, very bullish. I think that you're going to find a higher low here. It's almost parabolic what Dogecoin's doing here. I think the next run will be the biggest run that you've seen this cycle so far. This run was somewhat big. This run was bigger. I think this run here is going to be even bigger, right? It's going to be absolutely huge. It's going to be ginormous. Are you going to go all the way up to $1.54 by the end of the cycle? Sure, you're going to go there and above, I think. But by the end of this next move, no, probably not. If we take this high, we don't have the low, so it's really not appropriate. I don't know how to feel about that. Let's take this high to low here and just see what we got. Maybe even we should take this high to low, honestly. Maybe that's what we should do here. Come on now. Why? There we go. High here, low there. There we go. 2618 could be an area that we find resistance. 3113 between that zone. So I think Dogecoin will, on this next move, right after it finds resolution to the downside, will move up to about 86 to $1.44, 86 cents to $1.44. by the end of May or June. That's my expectation. I think that it is going to move up at this kind of pace because Dogecoin, whenever it moves up in any bull cycle, it only knows one pace. It's either moving up or it's sleeping, moving up or sleeping, right? Even in a bear cycle, it moves up at one pace. This thing only knows one speed, and it's pedal to the metal, man, straight to the floor. I absolutely believe that this next move will be bigger than any move we've seen so far for Dogecoin. I think that we will see targets that are above 86 cents or at least there. So something like that, if that comes from the current price of about 17 cents here, right? Just a little bit lower than that. That would be about a 5x at a minimum, 5x at a minimum for Dogecoin to an 8.5x at a maximum. Yes, that's kind of my expectation. I don't think that you go to $1.44. I really do like this $1.13 to 86 cent area personally, if I really had to guess, but anything and everything in between is fine. $1.44, 86 cents, somewhere in that zone. Let alone if you do go to the target areas I'm talking about, which would be at least like just below 12 cents there, right? 11.7. I put it at 12.1, whatever. It'll just be more. But the 2618 would be a 7x then, 7x, and the 3113 would be a 11x move. Yes, Dogecoin's going to see some crazy, crazy growth. I very much anticipate that it will on this next phase, and I think that this will begin probably sometime in April. I think that it doesn't, just because it begins doesn't mean you're moving through the roof immediately. What do I mean by begin? I mean maybe I should change my words here. The downside move will end, right? Just like how this downward move ended here, but you didn't move up immediately. You figured yourself out for a couple weeks, for even like a month or so, and then on that next month of May, or not May, sorry, that was this month of August, you continued to run up and saw some growth. So it could be that April you're figuring yourself out, and then May, June, you really start to move up. Okay, that's kind of the expectation. I don't really have anything else that I want to say. I hope you guys liked the video. Hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, right? Oh yeah, let's talk about the all-time highs first, actually, before we end. Before my computer dies here. I do believe that Dogecoin will see prices above 227. I think it'll be worth multiple dollars by the end of the cycle. My cycle high theory for Dogecoin is the same now as it was back in 2023 and even before 2023. I called for this back in 2022. If you don't believe me, go ahead and watch my videos from back then. I think I was doing YouTube videos in 2022. If not, it has been a thing that I've been long anticipating, right? Long anticipating is that we will go above $4. That's my expectation. So $4 around there, if not above it, just below it. But I think that we will go just above $4 personally. You're at 17 cents now. You have a long ways to go. Don't goof it up now at the sake of maybe catching this 30% drop. Maybe, right? Don't mess it up now, because the upside is what you should be afraid of missing, not the downside. I've got nothing else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.